Alright folks, let's see how this works. I driving the Mini today, and it doesn't really have a good place to put my clip. Just the shape of the vents, they just don't, they're not very conducive to that clip. So I have the digital camera secured, so to speak, between the visor and the ceiling. So it could just slip out at any time, which it just did. So I'm gonna just try this and see if this works. Yeah, that was, how about that for comic timing? So that's weird. I did not close the door properly. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it's been challenging to make consistent videos. They kind of come in bits and spurts. I think once September hits and the school year starts, my girls are at school for a blissful 6 hours a day, or I'm sorry, eight and a half hours a day. I will be home for a lot of that on most days. So that's when I will be able to do my videos, and it's when I did it before the school year ended. So I'll be able to be more regular, and I don't, I'll probably do 3 to 4 videos a week. We'll see. But yeah, so I apologize. There's still a couple, there's three viewer collections that I have in the queue. One, he emailed me a while ago, and he wasn't even necessarily, I don't have the info right here, but he has I think just one watch, the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, and he just wrote up a nice kind of like bio and philosophy, and I thought that would be interesting to share. And then there's another, I have a paid request actually from somebody who I reviewed already, but it's sort of like an update to their collection, so that should be interesting. And then another one, I'm still waiting to hear back from him with his updated. He contacted me a few weeks ago, and said in a couple of weeks he'll ask me to do it. I think he was getting another piece or something. So those will be coming up soon. This video, I was thinking about I don't know why I haven't quite gotten around to doing many of the watch lexicon. I think I'll just sprinkle them throughout. So this one wasn't originally going to be a watch lexicon, and it wasn't on the queue of lexicon terms that I wanted to share. But I was thinking about the iconic watch. Now I'm using icon in a little bit of a flexible way. Iconic usually means it's more of a superficial, what other people see. Somebody's icon, like if you know a guy that wears a hat, and it's his iconic hat. It's sort of like represents who he is, or at least it's what people identify him with. Iconic, is from the word icon, which is in a way it's not an idol. It's not like a false idol, but it's something that signifies you. It's something that people recognize as being you. So I was thinking about how in a way, I haven't really had an iconic watch. Although I think I do, and I think I've settled on one, which I'll share in a moment. But I also feel like the way I mean iconic, it's not just what other people kind of identify with as the watch that you wear, your watch, but it's a watch in a way that is most you, internally speaking. Like for instance, I would say the Archie luxury iconic watch is the Man on the Moon. Man on the Moon. You could say it's the Patek Philippe as well, the Calatrava that he had for that phase of his life. But year in, year out, through all the phases of his collecting, from what I've seen at least, he's always come back to the Man on the Moon. And I know in a recent video he was saying that he wants to get another Man on the Moon. I've been sort of, don't tell Archie this, but I've been slipping a little bit with watching his videos, because he puts out so many of them, and so many of them are these short little things. I would love to see him do like 1 or 2 a day that were a little bit more focused and less just sort of a 2-minute video. So yeah, I think the Moonwatch is the iconic Archie luxury watch. There have been other ones that have vied for it, you know, like even the Breguet that he had, certainly the Gold Submariner. That was like his iconic douche phase watch. The Patek Calatrava, Rolex Sab, although as much as he loves Rolex, or no, the Explorer too, I guess would be his more iconic Rolex. So that could be it too, but I think the Moonwatch, it's also, for Archie luxury, he's known for his man on the moon, right? That's sort of part of his shtick. So I think the Moonwatch is the iconic Archie luxury watch. And I also think that deep down he just loves that watch. It's like, maybe he doesn't want to admit that his favorite all-time watch is is not a high-end piece, and it's not a Rolex or a Patek, but it's an Omega, right? That seems to be his soul watch, I guess you could say. So for me, I think my iconic piece is this. I think this is the watch that best represents me, and it also is the watch that, there's something special about it for me. And maybe it's because it was my first Omega. It was my first kind of higher end piece. When I say higher end, I mean in the relative scheme of things, above tier 3, above mid-range. Some people would say Seamasters are sort of like the middle ground between mid-range and the true luxury. Maybe that's true. I'm fine with that. I don't care. It's just labels. But I don't know. I have 3 watches that are above everything else. They're sort of my inner 3. There's this one. There's the chronograph Seamaster that I have, and there's the Breitling Blackbird. But this one, more than those other 2, feels like the Johnny Casual icon, and not just that, but the watch that I have the most emotional connection to. Now, it might be because I've had it longer. I've had this one for about 1.5 years now. Maybe not quite, but about 1.5 years, which is long in my short, my 4.5 years of watch collecting. It's not the oldest watch I have. That would be the Orient Revolver, which has a special place in my heart too. But this one, it's just, it really, it's my iconic watch. So I'd like to hear other people what your iconic watch is. If you have an iconic watch, is there a watch that you have in your collection? It's not necessarily your highest end piece at all. In fact, it may very well not be. I just got a dirty look from some dude with a beard. More of a necky type. I think he wasn't very happy that I wasn't letting him in with his big horse carriage. Anyways, so it may not even be your favorite watch, as far as like, we often have favorites that are our favorites because we just got them and we're like, wow, this watch is amazing. Like for me, that was the Blackbird, the Breitling Blackbird, which I still love. I still am totally into that watch. But that initial honeymoon phase is over, where I still wear it, but it's not like dominating my consciousness in the same way that it was. I apologize, I'm sort of rough riding it here. Does it have a nasty connotation to it, I think? Anyways, no parking here unless, can I fit the Mini in there? Probably not. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. So yeah, tell me what your iconic watch is. What are you? What's the watch that most represents you? Not just from the perspective of other people as you imagine it, and maybe if you're not a YouTube celebrity like me and Archie, you don't have a watch like that. I mean, maybe your coworkers. It really depends. What your social situation is. Is there a watch that people think of when they think of you, right? but it's more so an inner experience. Like, what is the watch that you feel like, oh, I'm home? It's your home base watch. I would say this blue, electric blue Seamaster is that watch. I don't necessarily like it more than my chronograph Seamaster, which is also kind of borderline iconic. That might even be the watch that people identify with me more. I don't know. Or the Breitling Blackbird. But this one, I mean, I would even go so far as to say that if the house is burning and I could only grab one watch, it might be this one. That in the end, I have the most emotional attachment to this watch. And it certainly is a beauty. It's not like it's not, you know, a nice watch. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Tell me about your iconic watches down below. Not down below in the comments field. Later. Girls are at school for a blissful 6 hours a day. Or I'm sorry, eight and a half hours a day. I will be home for a lot of that on most days. So that's when I will be able to do my videos, and it's when I did it before the school year ended. So I'll be able to be more regular, and I don't, you know, I'll probably do 3 to 4 videos a week. We'll see. But yeah, so I apologize. There's still a couple, there's three viewer collections that I have in the queue. One, he emailed me a while ago, and he wasn't even necessarily, I don't have my digital camera secured, so to speak, between the visor and the ceiling. So it could just it could just slip out at any time, which it just did. So I'm gonna just try this and see if this works. Yeah, that was, how about that for comic timing? So that's weird. I did not close the door properly. All right, so let's see. Yeah, it's been challenging to make consistent videos. They kind of come in bits and spurts. I think once September hits and the school year starts, my girl. All right, folks, let's see how this works. I'm driving the Mini today, and it doesn't really have a good place to put my clip. Just the shape of the vents, they just don't, they're not very conducive to that clip. So I have